guys, you're welcome to Let's Talk with a Flip. Hi. Can you just introduce yourself, please? We'll start with Danielle. Can you tell us about yourself, what you do, and we'll take it from there?
Absolutely. My name is Danielle McGee. I'm the founder and CEO of Black Business Boom, which is a marketing platform for Black-owned businesses. That's pretty much the gist of what I do. I'm also the founder of the Boomin mobile app, which is a marketplace for Black-owned businesses. We offer coupons and loyalty programs as well as gift cards for Black-owned businesses.
Beautiful. Thank you. You're welcome. And can we hear from you now? Can you tell us about yourself?
Thanks, Precious. I'm Shola, and I'm into like data protection, but I've always showed interest in trying to support people and building better relationship, for all as well.
All right, beautiful. You're both welcome. As you all know, this is the year, and our topic for today is: should men lead in a relationship? This came from so many questions between friends and how the relationship has been managed in the past. So I decided to bring this as a topic for different people to discuss and talk about it and see who should actually lead. Because I, for one, I would say I love my man to lead in a relationship because I want a man that can inspire me and give me a reason to respect him and value him more. Although, yes, there's a part of it which comes into play, which brings about control. That's the only aspect I know, for one, I wouldn't really like in a relationship. And I know the difference as well in dating, whilst dating, and when you're in a relationship. It actually plays in different ways. So what do you guys think? Should a man lead in a relationship? I'm going to start with Danielle. Let's hear what she has to say.
I feel like a man should absolutely lead in a relationship. I think that we've seen a lot of changes in what the gender roles are and versus what they had traditionally been. I personally feel like if it is a male-female relationship,
Yeah.
the woman should be able to depend on the leadership of the man. So, and trust that he's going to guide her down the right path. And I think there's a huge difference between leadership and control.
Yeah.
So that I think that's where we kind of have to figure out what the difference is and what that means. And I think leadership will mean something different in every relationship. So, it could be more of a spiritual thing, more, which, I see it as, and not always a financial thing. It's not about finances. But here in America, we've seen a lot of situations of men not really knowing the things that they should do or are expected of them as a man. And so I think that's where there's some conflict because what we traditionally expect from a man in leading, a lot of the men in America unfortunately haven't been taught for several different reasons. So yeah, but all in all, I feel like absolutely a man should lead the relationship or guide the. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
That's fine. Yeah. So can we hear from you now, Shola? What have you got to say in
Thanks,
this?
Precious.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting topic, I must say.
Yeah.
And I think you've thrown me off balance a little bit, just the way you started it, basically, to be honest. But again, from my own perspective, while it's good for a man to lead in a relationship, I think it should be like a joint partnership thing. Because like as humans, the guy could be leading, but him have his own weaknesses. So again, that's the essence why, every party needs to be involved. But again, there needs to be like a mutual respect and understanding as well. Again, anyone could lead, depends on what you want them to lead on.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, it meant to be like joint partnership when it comes to like relationship and when it comes to leadership as well.
All right, thank you. You actually went ahead of me there when you talk about the strength in a man. I was going to come there. Yes, because although I know that I feel my man should lead in my relationship, I also feel we should know our purpose and roles in that relationship as well. Because there are situations where we have career women in a relationship. So what happens in that situation? Is it all the man leading or the man laying back a little to also help with keeping the home, keeping the relationship together? What do you have to say about that aspect now? If you are a career person and you're dating a man or in a relationship with a man that, well, he's also working, but your career supersedes kind of ranking, basically. Yours is more, would I say studious? You're more of that very busy woman. You're not always there and you're in that relationship with him. So what happens in that situation?
I mean, to be honest, I think like before you get into a relationship,
I'm sorry, my internet cut out for a second there, so I missed most of the questions. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. I will just take it again now. If you're in a relationship and you're a career woman, would it still balance up having the man leading in a relationship? That's just a short form of what I said, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been in relationships where I make more money than the person who I'm with, and we, you know, I'm maybe more educated or more well traveled than the person that I'm with, and that still doesn't change the dynamic in our relationship, or it hasn't. You know, I feel like there have been times where I may have had to say, well, you know, I may know a little bit more about this, you know, and make suggestions, but I am more of a submissive person. So all in all, I feel like the final decision if I am allowing someone to be in my life, it's because I trust them and I trust their leadership and I trust their judgment. And so if I trust that judgment, then I should be able to rely on that trust and allow them to make what they feel like is the best decision for us. I've also been with people who I'm like, your judgment is off, you know, and so I can't necessarily trust you to make the best decisions because your judgment is not great. So I think it really is about making better decisions about who you're with, and ensuring that you trust this person with your life. I mean, if I'm going to be in a relationship with a man at this age, I expect that it's someone I can trust with my finance, my life, my safety, my everything. And so, again, I feel like money doesn't have anything to do with it, but you do want to make sure that you're equally yoked with someone.
Okay.
So there's certain people who I'm just not going to date, you know, like we just are not going to, we don't see things the same. You know, it may not even be all about the money, but it may be about lifestyle. I like to travel. I like to travel the world. If you are unable to do that or unwilling to do that, then we just don't see things the same, and we're not equally yoked, and we wouldn't be compatible.
All right. I would say I picked a thing or two from what you just said. Yes, that still comes down to knowing your roles in the relationship. And also, you mentioned the fact that when his idea or suggestion doesn't sit right, you want to step in and say, oh, no, this doesn't go well with me. You still want to come up into it. That also talks about strengths and weaknesses. If it's a situation whereby he can't really lead in that direction, that means you're swapping roles at times, because in relationship, things changes. Yeah, it won't just remain the same all year round. He can't lead all through because you are the woman. You're there to support and help him as well. I guess that's how it works. So in the situation where he's falling short, you step in. Isn't that what you just pointed out, isn't it? That's role changing.
That is absolutely correct.
All right.
I think even in just think about a professional. Even in a professional environment, if I'm seeing my boss that's implementing something or doing something, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I feel like I should be empowered in my relationship just like I am in my job or my business to speak up. So it's different than saying as a leader you're a dictator. That's not what I'm saying at all, that the man should run and make every decision without input. I think that the strongest men are the men that are able to ask for help, ask for suggestions, ask for feedback, and not be a dictator in a relationship.
That's fine. I would like to hear from Shola. I'm sure he has a lot to say because he's also the man in this picture. All right. Yeah.
Well, I think being a leader in a relationship, or or like stepping up to that leadership
Yeah.
role, has nothing to do with like the career of the next person, basically. But like you said
Okay.
earlier on, in any relationship, there needs to be like that mutual respect and that mutual understanding. So basically, like I said earlier on, to me, both parties can lead from different area. That's why it's always important for you
Okay.
to like have an honest conversation with your partner, maybe at the start of the relationship, or whenever you feel you're comfortable, or whatever you feel the relationship is going somewhere, so you could like draw a purpose out. What do you guys tend to achieve in the next 5 6 years? Write them down and like assign someone who's going to lead on this, or this is where you've got strength, you can lead on this is where I've got strength, I can lead on this. So I think that's how it's meant to be in my own word, basically. And that, like, I mean, like what Danielle said earlier on, being a man or a strong man is a man that can actually ask for help, or like ask for like someone's opinion. But again, if you want to look at it, most men as well don't like to get opinion or listen to like what the next person's got to say. They believe like obviously their opinion, it's always best in certain situations as well. So again, that's why relationship, for you to have a smooth or a better relationship, leadership needs to be like 50-50, or like partnership. Basically fair, like everyone pulls strengths from different points, and yeah, and the next person lift the next person up as well. So again, it needs to be like 50-50, and there needs to be like that open and honest communication and conversation at every single stage of that relationship.
Yeah, that's good. I totally agree with what you've just said now, to be frank. I really do agree with it. But in a situation when you're going into a relationship with a woman now, do you think, this question is for you, Shola, do you think every man should actually know the kind of woman they're with? Because we know women, there are some women that actually, they act like they are for male. We have that in our society today. So, do you always have to take out time to know the kind of woman you're with, to see if the compatibility is there before you go into the relationship, or it blends out as you go along the way?
So again, in I usually say to people, a woman is like a dictionary. Every day you add like new words to the dictionary. So basically you can, like understand a woman 100%. But again, there needs to be like, like the basic level of understanding, and, both parties need to like make it a compromise as well. So again, like obviously you might not know your partner, or I might not know the woman 100%.
Yeah, of
But
course.
like if we share the same ideology, or if I understand that she's like a reasonable person and she listens to certain suggestions, then we can work our way up in that relationship as well. So again, like obviously, I mean, everyone come from a different background,
Of
and
course.
being an alpha female, obviously there might be something in the past that would have triggered that reaction, or making that person to become independent. So again, like, meeting an alpha female and then being in a relationship with that person shouldn't put you off. Again, like we humans, we've got our sweet side as well. So again, it's all about you trying to understand that person, and also trying to see if it's something you can work out. Again, you might have like an alpha female that might be like, the scary boss in the office, and also come home and be the perfect wife as well. So again, things sort of balance out. But obviously, if you meet someone and obviously you guys are going to click, you're going to know like after like 1 or 2 or 3 dates, or at the early stage of that relationship, if you know it's not going to go anywhere, that signs are always going to be there as well. So again, like obviously being an alpha female, obviously coming back to the house, she can allow you to lead on certain things. And also it's always important as a man to also allow her to lead in certain aspects as well. Like you say, for example, you've got kids, I might not be able to do certain stuff. I might not be able to dress the kids properly. Obviously, the wife might be there and she might be able to do that properly. Or maybe like the electric bulb goes off. Because I leave, if she waits for me every time to change that when I'm away out of the country, again, things might not, work properly at all. So again, it needs to be like that partnership, relationship or leadership coming into, perspective.
Yeah. Beautiful. Can we hear from you, Danielle? Have you got anything to say to add to what Shola has just said? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes both ways with needing to know fairly quickly, if possible, who they're dealing with. I know that there are certain men that I'm not gonna mesh with, and that includes weak men as well as controlling men. So somewhere in the middle, is kind of the sweet spot for me, where I could never be and have never been with someone who I consider to be controlling. I have also never intentionally been with someone who I consider to be weak or I can easily walk over. And I'm able to get an idea pretty quickly of where people land in that spectrum.
Yeah.
I think just like men need to kind of know, women need to know, like, I'm not going to deal with a controlling man. I'm not going to deal with someone who thinks that they're a dictator over every decision I make, or tells me when I can and can't go and where I can't go, how I should dress. But I'm also not going to deal with a man that I don't feel like can make decisions for me and for us, and make good decisions for me and for us. And there are little things that you see up front when you're dating someone, like you're dating a man and they're like, well, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? And you're like, well, just plan something, like, you're the man, take control, plan us a date, and that's like a red flag for me when a man can't even step up and take initiative and plan something. I'm like, you are the leader. You're supposed to be guiding how this goes, and you can't even take the initiative to plan something for us. So things like that, they are red flags, and I instantly, and turnoffs. And that's probably why I haven't ended up in a relationship really with anyone like that, because it just is not, like I said, it's kind of finding the sweet spot for who you are. And I think that people tend to overlook things because someone may look nice or treat them nice or whatever it might be, or have a lot of money or whatever. We tend to overlook things because of those factors. And then we find down the line that, this person is not who we thought they were, but they gave you all the signs, like they showed you who they were. Really, you just chose to ignore it.
Ignore it. Okay, thank you. I would say I've actually also picked something from what you just said now. Talking about a man not being able to detect where to go when you want to go out for dinner and all that. It takes me to this topic of leadership in while you're dating and when you're actually in the relationship. They are very, very different. Seriously, I believe it changes. I don't think it's the same when you're just dating and then when you're actually in the relationship or married. So, do you think it changes as well? I believe it changes. I would ask Shola, he is a man now. When you're dating a woman, the way you lead in that relationship, courtship and all that, and when you're actually in deep, married and it's a proper relationship now, solid. Does the leadership role change for you as a man?
Yeah, obviously it does change to a large extent. Obviously, when you're dating, it's just both of you. But along the line, when you get married, you begin to have kids and trying to raise family, and obviously decisions you make at that point start to change as well. So again, example of those decisions might be like trying to get a house, what location, or when you've got kids, where this kid's going to go to school. So those are the few changes that come obviously in play as well. So obviously when you're married, the leadership role certainly change, but obviously not like to a great extent. And even during those changes as well, it's always important for you to have constant communication with your partner, just so they understand what the plan is, where we're going to as a family. Because like Daniel rightly said, you want a man that will be able to lead, to like tell you where we're going to in the next 5 years, or guarantee your safety, like financial safety, and the safety of the family as well. So again, like the leadership role sort of changes, but it only changes slightly. But even at that as well, there need to be like constant communication and obviously like agreement between both parties,
both of you, because of the roles changing.
Yeah.
Also, I want you to address what Danielle equally said about wanting a man that would be able to dictate and say, oh, let's go to this restaurant, let's pick this, let's do that. When you're dating, I equally think that is different from when you're already in a relationship. When you're dating the man, I think it's okay for the man to say, oh yeah, I'm taking this lady, this is my new chick to so restaurant and all that. But when you're now in a relationship, he wants to pull back and say, okay, tell us where to go. He's relaxed. That's where comfort comes in. Comes to like, okay, tell us where you want me to take you to. So in that aspect, what do you think?
to be honest, I think majority of the guys out there will like that. When we get married, we feel comfortable, relaxed. But I like to say at this point, it's not meant to be that way. So again, the way you treated the girl or the lady when you were dating should still be the same. And the love should actually increase when you're raising a family, because obviously, if the wife is not happy, there's going to be like lots of issues coming up all the time, in the home. And if you've got kids as well, and probability those issues are going to rub up on the kids as well. So again, there are times where women love surprises. So again, there's nothing wrong to say, come on, baby, I'm taking you on this trip, or you book a flight ticket, or book, like a nice hotel, somewhere in some other out of town as well. Every woman like that. Again, there are times where you still need to like say, oh, come on, baby, where do you want to go to? So again, it's not like about you trying to relax 100%. It's all about you trying to have a fine balance, and then trying to make you feel special at every single point in time as well.
Okay, that's fine. Did you like that then, Danielle? Did you get what he just said? Did you like that? Do you feel that's how it should? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, things are different. Me and my boyfriend's have been together 3 years, and he'll easily be like, "You pick somewhere," like it. And so, and it's very different than when we were first dating. Where I expected him to make more of a decision. Now it's like one of us is gonna pick where we eat. It's not a huge deal. I think that the dynamic absolutely changes as you go through and learn each other and know each other, know what each other likes more and things like that. Well, he always picks where we eat, so sometimes and I'm like, that's fine, it doesn't bother me. Whereas, but then sometimes he'll be like, you need to tell me what you want. I shouldn't always have to choose. What do you want to have? Let's get something that you like, So I think that it absolutely changes. Everybody is different. And there is a change in that type of thing. Of course, there's a change from when you first meet somebody versus a year or 2 or 3 years or whatever length of time in. And I do understand that sometimes the man is just trying to, be like, well, I want to take you somewhere that you like, but I think that men need to realize that women are naturally drawn to, in most cases, someone who can provide us leadership and security. And so that taking that initiative to step up and plan something, we don't want to think about what our date is. We want to be surprised, unless a lot of times, and I certainly can't speak for all women, but most women that I know don't want to think about the date. They want to think about what they're wearing on the date, how they're going to wear their hair, and be excited about what it is that you plan, be able to go back and tell our friends, like, he planned something special. He took me to this restaurant. It was really nice. Those type of things. That's what we want when we first start out dating someone and we love, I mean, even if you've been dating someone for years, we love for a man to be like, be dressed at 7 and we're going out. And like, we like that type of thing. Okay. For you guys to make decisions. But of course, we also like, if we have a favorite restaurant, of course, we want you to take us to our favorite restaurant as well. But so like I said, but it takes time for you to even know that.
All right. So I would say so far, a man should lead, or there should be that communication for you to be able to tell him this is what you want as well. There should be that space for him to accommodate what you have to say. Yes, he should lead. Yes, he shouldn't be perfect, but also work according to the way things can be valued in the relationship and respects you as well along the way. That's fine. So I want to come to these aspects of leadership and control right now. In a relationship, when a man is the alpha female, where do you need to draw the line and say, right, this is now becoming to be a habit, you're now being controlling, and he wants to do everything, wants to make every decision in a home. So as a woman now, where do you cut the line? I'm going back to you, Danielle. Where do you think you should draw the line with your man and say, no, You can lead in every other thing, but this time around, it shouldn't be like you're controlling. Give me room to put in one or two things to make this relationship better.
Yeah, I think that anytime you start to determine where I go, what time I go, what time I have to be back, what I can wear, those type of things that impact my personal being. Now I consider that to be controlling. And if you're not doing it to protect me, it might be, if you're telling me to do something out of love and protection versus jealousy and control, like that's totally different. I think also if you start to see that this person's judgment is off or their decision making is not, they've made a series of bad decisions that have had a negative impact on the family, it might be time to step in and have some conversations about, maybe we need to talk more before these decisions are made. But I think the controlling versus leadership, again, one is generally out of, excuse me, one is generally out of love. Yeah. When you lead someone, you want to lead them down the right path. You want to make sure that they're safe and taken care of. Whereas if you are controlling, it's typically you and your own issues and your own jealousy or insecurities that's driving that, not your love for the other person.
All right, thank you so much. Let's hear now from Shola. What have you got to say? Where do you draw the line between control and leadership?
Well, I think they're completely two different, things. Obviously, like being in charge or being a leader in a relationship, it's for like the good of that relationship. Yeah. And obviously being controlling as well has like a negative effect or impact on your partner and on that relationship as well. Again, it shows a sign of insecurity at times in the part, of we men or, again, it's not ideal, and again, that's where that communication comes into place every time. So again, there are times we as men as well will try to not like trying to be controlling, but we say things maybe out of love, but it's been interpreted, or been seen like being controlling from a perspective. So again, that's where you need to obviously step in to say, come on, baby, I don't like what you've said. I think this is not right, or I think this is out of order as well. Mm-hmm. There are times where you might know this is like way out of line. So for example, you're going out and I've just like, locked the door, stop you from going out, or try to choose your friends, So again, those are like being controlling, but again, you need to step on board and obviously, have a nice talk with that person as well and see if it's something that can be resolved,
Beautiful. Yeah, that's fine. I actually like the points you just made. Yeah, that takes me to a different topic under this as well, in leadership as well. I just wanted to ask this from a man and from a woman. In leadership, now we're going into spirituality. Is it a must for the man to lead you spiritually? Should I start from Danielle?
Yeah. I mean, from what I've been taught and what I believe it is. And I think that, in my relationships in the past, I have relied on the person that I'm dating to lead the relationship and, the spirituality in the relationship. I feel like, again, that's what I've been taught is in the Bible. So therefore, that is what I believe, and that is what I try to abide by.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we hear from you now, Shola?
I think anyone could lead on that, but from what I've seen so far, most women sort of lead when it comes to like, the spiritual aspect in trying to raise a family, because they've got like so much time and they pay attention to like little details as well.
Yeah.
And we as men, we take, quite a lot of stuff for granted as well. But where you
Yeah.
could see like, women, trying to resolve that maybe in a spiritual way or trying to go on their knees to say a prayer, women could just think, oh, maybe it's just like a bad luck, we'll try
Okay.
next time. So again, quite a lot of women, they're kind of spiritual and they tend to lead, in that aspect, in their homes as well.
All right, beautiful. I would say I equally agree with Shola on this. I feel spirituality. Everyone, we spoke at the beginning of this about strengths and weaknesses. He might not be that strong in that aspect, although he is trying and leaning on you at the same time to pull him along the way. So I believe in terms of spirituality, it can come from both ways, and being able to help each other manage each other in the relationship can help even boost his own spiritual level and then bring the family up to speed, which is really nice. My last question now for this talk show is this: is it okay for the man who you see as your leader now in the relationship to bring himself down for advice from you as the woman?
I would hope that he would. There are certain things that in my current relationship, he knows that I'm stronger in than he is. So, like business, that's what I do.
Your
I help people
relationship
with
has so
businesses, with
many
marketing.
things to be frank. Your relationship has a
It's,
lot. You're
I,
looking up to him for so many things, yet he knows you're stronger. So how are you managing this?
yeah. No, I mean, we have a really great relationship with very open communication. So, he knows what my strengths are, and he does not mind allowing me to show those strengths, and to help progress our relationship. I mean, and it can be very trivial things like, um, for instance, like vacation, planning a vacation. He will allow me to book the flights. He'll allow me to plan a whole vacation, and he just kind of shows up. He trusts me to do that. He knows that I've been traveling forever, and I'm good at doing that. So he allows me to be great in that way. Whereas like financially, he is more of a saver, and he does better in that arena than I do. So I allow him to take the lead. But there's certain things. But I was also a banker for 5 years, so if we're talking about certain types of accounts, I know these things because I did it for years. So he will come to me, or trust what I'm telling him in those conversations. So it doesn't always look like him saying, I need your advice on this, or can you give me your opinion? But it just looks like free flowing conversation because we talk all the time, and we have such open communication that when topics come up, he's gonna hear my opinion. I'm an opinionated person, so he's gonna hear my opinion. He's going to truly hear it, listen to it, and hear it. And if there are things that are valid, implement what needs to be done and whatever the situation is. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the strongest men are men that can take advice and accept help, and even seek it out if need be. And that's where a lot of men struggle, is seeking it. They may take it if one of their friends mention certain things or give them advice, but they don't a lot of times go out and solicit the feedback or the opinions or the help. And I think that's where a lot of men could stand to do a little better, with understanding that nobody knows everything, and you have to go and ask for help and ask for feedback, ask for other opinions, if you're going to make the best decisions in life.
Right, beautiful, well said. Thank you. Can we now hear from Shola now?
I think like your partner should be your best friend. So again,
Right.
if there is that like peaceful setting in that relationship, going back to your partner for sort of advice shouldn't be an issue or problem. But I think one of the reasons why men kind of scared from telling their partner certain issue is because before you start, they just shut you down basically. Say for example, you want to go into this business, and obviously it's quite a risky business, and
Mm.
just before you even start saying it, your partner might just say, "Oh, this person lost a lot of money. Don't do it." So again, it kind of puts you off. But again,
Yeah.
like that's why you need to understand your partner basically. But again,
Yeah.
your partner should be your best friend, and obviously going back to your partner for kind of advice that's gonna have like positive impact or negative, impact on that relationship. You need to obviously let your partner know that, and obviously seek for advice as well. Again, they could advise you. It's up to you to take that decision. But again, it's always necessary to obviously, go back to your partner and seek for advice. There's nothing wrong there, in my own opinion. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for hitting the nail on the head on this topic, which is really good. Have you got any final words or advice to people still finding it difficult to understand? We are not saying they should follow what we are saying, but what have you got your last points to like say, okay, this is what it should be. You try to give them the space because I personally know at times you need to push this leadership thing out of the man. There are lots of men that just want to sit down and relax and let you lead the way. Well, yeah, it happens. Have you got anything else to chip into this very conversation, Danielle?
I would just say know who your partner is, know what you need in a partner. In this regard and in all regards, know exactly, the type of person that will complement who you are as a person, as well as look for red flags when someone isn't that, and try to not to ignore those red flags when you see them early in a relationship. Along the lines of leadership, I feel like that's a first date question to me. Do you, for men and women, do you feel like a man should lead in a relationship? These are conversations that should be happening really early in a relationship so that everyone knows what the expectations are, and you can't say that you didn't know because they told you how they feel, and the man may tell you, absolutely, I feel like I need to lead the relationship and make decisions as far as my household and my children are concerned. And if that's something that doesn't align with what you feel to be true, then you need to go another way. So I think that my overall advice is just to have open, candid conversations with people so that you know where they stand on the issue. Everybody's going to feel differently, and there's someone out there that feels like you feel, and you all will mesh better than someone that you're trying to make it happen with, even knowing that you aren't on the same page.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Well said. Thank you so much, Danielle. Can we hear from Shola now?
Yeah, I think for the men out there, strong leadership is very, very important in a relationship. And as men, you've got like certain roles that you've got to play to build that relationship, and obviously to move that relationship to the next stage as well. Again, for any man that have kids there, your kids look up to you for a strong leadership as well. So again, if you refuse or fail to stop, up in that relationship, it obviously has like negative impact on your kids,
Impact, yeah.
and also have negative impact on your partner as well. So I'll say for the men out there, communication is the key. Again, you need to respect your partner and also step on board, take that relationship, and then step and put yourself in the right position where you'll be respected, and your partner can actually look up to you to make the right decision and to move that relationship to the next stage.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. Those points were awesome. Thanks so much for joining us on this very topic. I hope we've actually answered some questions for some people. And once again, thank you, guys. You're welcome to Let's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was really good. Thank you so much. And thank you all for, still
Yeah.
coming, even though the time difference. Thanks, Sheila.
Absolutely.
Love you
Yeah,
guys.
thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, bye
thank
for now.
you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.